ILI, the International Law Institute. But like I was guided by my good friend by now, Mr. Swithin, he told me that ILI stands for nothing. That is something that perhaps you'll try to find out later, and maybe get a history of why he believes that ILI, from the South African perspective, stands for nothing. So you just call it ILI, South Africa. I want to welcome all of you, and we shall go straight into our program because I realized that we could perhaps be behind the schedule. And this is what I will then start by asking Professor Kenneth Mutuma to come forward and make his remarks.
A very, very good morning to all of you. I say again, a very good morning. Allow me to recognize the presence of our Vice Chancellor, who has so graciously been behind an activity that we are going to see emanating out of this MOU. And allow me also to recognize the presence of the Attorney General, represented by the Deputy Solicitor General, Madam Jerry Washira. I also take heart and I recognize the presence of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Chairperson, Jacqueline Waihenya, and of course our very, very excellent partners from ILI. I don't know whether to keep it still as a mystery and let them draw us into that conversation and the expertise that they bring from Washington in the area that we're going to discuss. And then, of course, I'm very, very happy to be in the presence of our director, Cidlaw, Madam Judy Ngayo, and the excellent work that she has done behind the scenes in making this reality come to pass. I want to speak from the perspective of our wonderful and esteemed university, MKU, Mount Kenya University. I think one of the things that lies very dearly at the heart of MKU is how to bridge academia with industry. We are very, very conscious of the label that many institutions, particularly research and academic tertiary, have attracted what you call the ivory tower research institutions. And at the forefront of the vision of this great university is the idea that that gap between what we are developing here and what practices out there in industry is minimized. This endeavor is actually at the very nature working towards that specific objective. And it's doing this in the world of investment arbitration. Now, for a few of you, I think you may have taken arbitration courses. You realize that at the center of that world of investment arbitration, and specifically arbitration in different forms and ADR, is the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, a membership body that is across 150 countries, and specifically prides itself as the premier training and membership organization when it comes to matters ADR and specifically arbitration. And we are hoping that this partnership, specifically with that body, will see not just our students, but our wider academic fraternity beginning to move into the world of practice. Of course, Madam Chair, at reasonable rates that are attractive to the students that also are present. But the partnership, I think you will know that training at the heart of it requires expertise and people who have the kind of expertise that you're looking at. And I'm very, very proud that we will be walking this journey, not alone, but with the experts when it comes to investment arbitration, and that is none other than the International Law Institute, who will speak a bit more about the unique characteristics of this area. And so I am thrilled, when Vice Chancellor, to be here on this auspicious day and to see what is likely to turn out to be a regional endeavor. As you know, the world of investment arbitration is beyond this jurisdiction of ours. And indeed, when we hear from ILI, they will tell us more, and we'll be able to see that our beloved university is going to be at the center of something that goes into the region and possibly the continent. Without much further ado, thank you very much for being here. You wouldn't, of course, have an occasion without your presence, and I applaud and respect the time that you've taken to join us. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Let's put our hands together for Professor Kenneth Mutuma. Up next, I would like to invite our Dean, Dr. Ezekiel Oira, to make his remarks. And Dr. Oira, after making your remarks, kindly and very kindly, do invite our Vice Chancellor. Thank you.
Thank you, MC. Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, students and friends. You may excuse me, my voice is not very clear because of a call, but I hope I can be heard. It is a great honor to warmly welcome you all today as we gather for this momentous and solemn occasion, the signing of the tripartite agreement, which Professor Mutuma has ably explained. The purpose of the MOU, therefore, would be to bring expertise from South Africa, from USA, in the field of ADR. ADR is an area of study which is increasingly becoming in vogue, relevant in view of the fact that courtroom legalistic and other challenges relating to delays of cases have led to most people taking preference in ADR. So we encourage everybody to take in interest in this area because it's an emerging area which is not so new, because traditionally most communities had ADRs anyway. Even in my village, my grandfather told me that they used to have an arbitration system which would resolve disputes much faster than the modern ones created within the court system. But for those who would want to know about ADR, after a post-cafe, we are going to have a presentation or a lecture by none other than my teacher, my former teacher, Professor Githu Muigai, who is going to discuss and deconstruct more about the concept of ADR as such. As Dean of School of Law, I will ensure that this MOU will be implemented in fact, in form and substance, so that it delivers what it was intended for right from the beginning. The three parties will work together as one within the concept of the biblical Trinity, because we are going to have three parties now going to work in harmony, just like the biblical Trinity works, and we will not expect any challenges as we move forward. There is only one answer to defeat, and that's victory. So said Churchill during the Second World War. As the School of Law, we can paraphrase this and say that to this partnership, there's only one answer: success, success, success indefinitely. Our preliminary survey indicates that Kenyans have unquenched thirst for knowledge in ADR. Of course, a subject which they love with discriminating eye because it's actualized outside courtroom theaters. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to everyone who worked behind the scenes to ensure that this program is successful. And we, as the School of Law, as Mount Kenya, will always be very grateful for the good work that you have done. And this program will not only benefit the School of Law or the partners, it will also benefit the larger Kenyan community in the context of ADR. Without much ado, as I know that we are going to have much discussion in this area, it's my singular pleasure and honor to invite the Vice Chancellor of Mount Kenya University to come and make his remarks. Professor Chagany, please.
Good morning, everybody. Law School, good morning. I'm not sure if that one had hit my head. Will I sue somebody? It's always nice to see the student from the law school. And I tend to think, Judy, you should always bring them to Thika. Why? Because every time I meet the law students, they are always very smartly dressed. They are always very smartly dressed. And therefore I can be able to differentiate those ones from Thika and those ones from the law school. Anyway, the chief guest, Honorable Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, Ms. Dorcas Oduor, very well represented by Ms. Njeri Wachira, Senior Deputy Solicitor General. Our keynote speaker, Senior Counselor Professor Gitu Muigai. The Vice Chairman, International Law Institute, Mr. Swinthin Munyantwali. Why couldn't they have given you a simpler name? Chairperson, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Kenya Branch, Ms. Jacqueline Waihenya. The DVC is present, the principals, the Dean of the School of Law, and other staff who are here, distinguished guests who are present, and most importantly, the students. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Mount Kenya University. Seldomly we fortunate to host noble giants of the legal profession in our university. You know, the only time we come across lawyers is when you have some issues. But I tend to think today, it's not those issues. Today is a different type of issues. Your presence here today depicts the forged synergy that Mount Kenya University, particularly our Center for International Development Law, which we normally call Cidlaw, hosted at the Parkland School of Law, has built with other institutions for you to honor this invitation. Acknowledgement of partnership. We deeply appreciate the invaluable collaboration with the International Law Institute of South African Center for Excellence, which is called ILS, SACE, and the Chartered Institute for Arbitrator, Kenya Branch, in making this event possible. Their commitment to advancing investment, arbitration, and environmental social governance aligns seamless with MKU's mission of fostering knowledge and professional excellence. Significance of the theme. The theme for today's lecture, investment, arbitration, and ESG compliance, new frontiers for African legal and economic transformation, is not just timely, it is essential. Without deliberate and strategic action towards sustainability, we risk compromising the future of the next generation. Arbitration plays a vital role in fostering sustainable economic growth and ensuring fair, transparent dispute resolution mechanism across the continent. The cost efficiency, effectiveness, and flexibility of arbitration appeals to many business owners in Kenya over court litigations. We, therefore, applaud the government through the Office of the Attorney General and the judiciary for embracing arbitration within our Kenyan judiciary system. Essence of the partnership. The Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, the Kenyan branch, has been providing high-quality training for arbitrators in Kenya. Your impact and outstanding efforts have been recognized both locally and internationally, and we applaud you. The South African Center for Excellence sets itself apart as one of the few institutions offering training on global finance and corporate governance, with a focus on African business and government. The center has made significant strides in advancing legal governance education across Africa. Therefore, the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, which I did refer to as Memorandum of Action, because at MKU, everything has to result into an output. By these two institutions, with Cidlaw today, marks a significant milestone. This partnership stands out among the center's achievement as it introduces a unique training dimension. The training envisioned under the MOU will offer an international and cross-boundary perspective. It will not only enrich law students, but also train and practicing arbitrators who seek to expand their knowledge and expertise beyond the national borders. Announcement of the joint training. I'm here pleased to announce that MKU will host the first joint training program on investment protection and arbitration from 18th to 22nd June 2025. I hear my director of Cidlaw is now changing the date. She told me June, it is written June, J-U-N-E, and now it is being called August. Well, let's simply say it will be in August. Okay. The Chartered Institute of Arbitrators will facilitate its entry course in arbitration, equipping participants with foundational expertise in dispute resolution. 2. ILI, South Africa Center of Excellence, will provide international module focused on environmental and social governance and investment protection, ensuring a comprehensive understanding of responsible investment practices. MKU, through Cidlaw, will provide the academic infrastructure and the student reach to host the training program. I'm also pleased to announce that MKU students in this room and the alumni will be given priority for admission into this particular program. Opportunities for students and professionals. Arbitration is a multidisciplinary practice. The commencement of this program means a globalized outlook on arbitration, which appeals to engineers, doctors, architects, and suppliers, among other professions. By signing this MOU as MKU Cidlaw, we envision that we shall produce out seasoned arbitrators who are cognizant of global and regional need and practices. I encourage all interested individuals to participate and take full advantage of the training program and future collaborations. As I conclude, MKU remains steadfast in its commitment to fostering high-impact academic and professional partnership. We look forward to strengthening our ties with the STEAM institution collectively to shape the future of investment governance in Africa. With those many words, karibuni sana MKU, and we look forward to this collaboration. And I think it is my honor to invite, let me look at the program before I'm corrected by my director of Cidlaw. Yes, it is my honor to invite, is it me or somebody else?
Let me do that.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for our Prof. Dio, the VC, Mount Kenya University. Allow me to take this opportunity to now invite Ms. Jacqueline Waihenya, the chairperson of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. But before Jacqueline steps in, I would want to say one or two things in terms of, for us to know who she is. So Ms. Jacqueline Waihenya is the chairperson of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Kenya chapter. She holds an LLM, a degree from the University of Nairobi in financial services law. She's currently pursuing an LLM in international dispute resolution at Queen Mary University in London. She is the associate editor of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Kenya ADR Journal. She's also a fellow certified secretary, a governance auditor, and legal compliance auditor, and also currently the managing partner of JWM Law LLP. Please let's put our hands together for Ms. Jacqueline Waihenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome to MKU Thika campus. It's a pleasure to be here. Allow me, before I adopt the protocol, to just make one correction, because I'm in academic circles. When you're in academic circles, you hold up your academic credentials high. So I have a second master's from Queen Mary University of London in International Dispute Resolution. What I'm currently pursuing right now is a PhD at the University of Nairobi in ESG and artificial intelligence. But we can talk about that in another forum.
Thank you.
So thank you and for allowing me that clarification. I'm here from the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, and I stand as the branch chair. Before I say something, I have not come alone. And because we are in the company of the youth, I want to call our YMG, that's our Young Members Group's chair, to just come and say a very quick hello and good morning to each and every one of you, so that you can see that in as much as we are many old people in the profession, there are a few of us who are young, and I'm sure he can act as your role model for today. David, just come and say good morning to everyone.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Allow me to proceed on the protocol already observed. My name is David Onsare. I am the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Kenya branch YMG chair. I can see most of my constituents are here. I hope that we will interact a bit more going forward. For today's event, it marks a very significant event which is keen on strengthening practice and education. And I'm a big proponent of African solutions to African challenges. I look forward to collaborating with the school and interacting with most of my constituents here going forward. Asanteni sana, enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. I will also adopt the protocol, but it would be bad manners not to acknowledge our host. The the whole team led by the Vice Chancellor, and thank you for the warm welcome to your beautiful campus and to your wonderful institution. And also to acknowledge our, I'm seeing somebody new has joined us. And also to acknowledge the presence of our our chief guest, and representing the Honorable the Attorney General, a good friend, my senior. You're all lawyers here, so you appreciate when I say my senior. She's somebody I have looked up to and enjoyed watching her grow, and also working with her very recently. And I'm very proud to associate myself with her because she is practically a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. So please put your hands together for her, for that. Because we are aspiring to make many of you a fellow, just as she is. And because my teacher, that teacher, you know him very well. He's a very big feature in anything legal in this country. But for me, he was a first lecturer in my first law class when I was a student like you, Professor Githu Muigai. But today I can claim him as one of my members because he is a chartered arbitrator, the highest ranking you can get in CIAB, not only in Kenya but around the world. And the reason I have taken this opportunity to showcase them is because they demonstrate what is possible if you pursue the qualifications. We call them the post-nominals. David came first. He is a fellow. He is under 40 years, and he is a fellow of CIAB. Anywhere he walks in the world and says he is a fellow, he is recognized as such. And our most senior member, the chartered arbitrator, anywhere and everywhere we have gone, he has been recognized as a chartered arbitrator. In addition to all the many, many qualifications that he has, so too, Jerry, our fellow, one of our almost, she's right here just to announce, and I think I can announce on behalf of CIAB. And she has done a lot of investment arbitration herself. She has practical knowledge about the subject matter of why we are here today, to build the capacity in this particular space. So she is a subject matter expert who, when Professor Muigai was the Attorney General, led the teams that won all of Kenya's investment cases. I think we should clap for her. And everybody else. And you can understand my excitement, why I'm very, very excited today, because in addition to our local expertise, and I'm just talking about expertise multidisciplinary, we are also joined by Swithin. Yeah, he's also been he was part of some of the tribunals. We didn't talk to him then, but we are talking to him now so that we can improve our capacity here in Kenya. And I'll be telling you in a few words, in a few moments, why this is very, very important. But for me, just clap for him because he's come very many kilometers. And he represents a wealth of experience that is unparalleled in this part of the world. And, you know, when we are in Africa today, we are saying, let's do Africa for Africans. Have you heard that phrase anywhere before? This is what this MOU means. It means that we are championing Africa for Africans. And I feel very, very privileged to be able to stand before you today and really be able to stand behind a program I believe in with a lot of enthusiasm and passion, because I know what it means for our future. For our government, our country, our state, it meant that because we had expertise, we saved on taxpayers' money, yes? And we saved many millions of shillings that could have gone into some other different places and spaces, but were able to be retained here in Kenya. So our MOU is very, very important and significant because it creates a bridge from the past to the future being you. And the other important thing that I really want to say here, other than we are championing Africa for Africans, is that Africa has now become an industry. Are you aware of that? Yeah, you're a data point somewhere. You are aware of that, at least that much I know. And I know that, you know, when you go on TikTok, there's somebody who is trying to capture your business, your eyeballs, your time, your finances, your business. So let me tell you how you can get back at them. Because wherever commerce goes, dispute resolution follows. And that means that you and I can be able to build a future where we can resolve disputes for Africa by Africans who have actually lived the African experience and who are able to take a lot of knowledge. You know, we have a lot of knowledge that has been brewed by our parents, our forefathers, and even me and you here today. We are 1.5 billion of us, and 1.5 billion of us are under the age of 40. Actually, the median age in Africa is 19 years old, you included. And that is why I believe that with this MOU, we'll be able to create the platform, create the opportunity for the exchange of knowledge, and to do what we do best in the academy. Not only to synthesize knowledge, to use what we are told from the West, but let us be at the forefront of taking that knowledge, making use of it, customizing it to our circumstances, and then projecting it into the future. Because we are being transformed, whether we like it or not. But transformation without empowerment just means that ultimately we may end up being servants of those who are able to capture that potential and use it, and I will even say this word, monetize it for the betterment of the lawyers in this room. And because we are here for the future, we are here for the young members of our profession, I will say to you that you represent that dream. And when I stand here as CIR Branch Kenya Chair, and as we sign this MOU, and I promised your Vice Chancellor this morning that when we sign this MOU, we are going to have a working plan that is going to ensure that within the next 6 months, you actually see something tangible. And I spoke in the language of our forefathers. You know the Wahengas? Yes? Ukiona kimelea kimeundwa. So here today, when we stand, tunaunda, sindio? Yeah, me and you. And the only thing I will request, because I stand between our seniors, represented here by Professor Cidlaw Muigai and Jerry and the Attorney General, and I stand between you because you're my children. My daughters are also in university, just like you, and we're building. So I have a very big stake in building a future for you. So there's only one promise that I'm going to ask you to make me as CIR Branch Chair. Please take advantage of this opportunity. If you wait until you graduate, you will come. You've had people murmuring about the cost of training. It is a true investment. Invest now when there's somebody or entities who are able to subsidize the cost for you so that you can take advantage, hit the ground running, leave the university with other credentials and qualifications. When you go to ask for employment in other places, this will be what they call that added advantage. I'm sure you have seen it in the advertisements that they are all that are all over the place. So grab this opportunity. Listen to what we are going to be told by Professor Cidlaw Muigai. I'm also here to learn today, but also grab something. You must catch something and run with it so that when you walk out of the academy today, you say, you know, today was a day well spent, and I have a new path, a new plan, a new future. And that future means that because ESG is here, we will also look at ensuring that you pay it forward. So that is the only promise that I want you to make to us as we take this opportunity that has been presented by this wonderful university that speaks not only the language of scholarship, but also practice. So please put your hands together for the team here and put your hands together for yourselves as well. And thank you for the privilege of your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jacqueline. Let's put our hands together for Ms. Jacqueline for those very wonderful remarks. Allow me at this juncture to invite Mr. Swithin Munyantwali. Mr. Swithin is the Vice Chairman and Co-founder of ILI the South African Center of Excellence. Please, let's put our hands together for Mr. Swithin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Just to borrow from Jacqueline, it's such a pleasure to be in the presence of the future. It's not very long ago that I was just like you, so being with students who are inspired is fantastic. Our host, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Deogracias Jaganyi, thank you for your very warm welcome and for leading this great regional institution. Professor Gitu Muigai, the guest of honor and distinguished international lawyer, who is a household name. It is a pleasure to see you here. Njeri Washira, Senior Deputy Solicitor General for the Attorney General's Office. I feel very close to you because we worked for so many years on different sides of a very important case which got resolved in favor of Kenya. The chair of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Jacqueline Wahenya, Professor Hezekiel Oira, the Dean of the School of Law, Professor Kenneth Mutuma, my very good friend, who's the Vice Chair for the Center of Arbitration, and as well as the Head of Strategy at the Center for International and Development Law, management, distinguished faculty and students, fellow colleagues and partners, ladies and gentlemen. To borrow from the Vice Chancellor, the spirit of the MOU is not just symbolic. It is a blueprint for transformation. It signals a shared ambition between our three institutions to equip East Africa's legal and professional community with tools that meet international standards in investment arbitration, ADR, and increasingly vital field of ESG, environmental, social, and governance compliance. It's also no accident that this is happening here in Kenya. Kenya is a very special place. About 2 weeks ago, I was at an event where a good friend of mine and the former US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, were being honored by Princeton University. And you should have heard Meg Whitman talking about Kenya. But I didn't need to hear it from her because I already knew what she was talking about. This is a great country. And she put Kenya as one of the top 3 investment destinations on this continent. So it's no accident that we're signing this in this country. Why this partnership matters. As Africa emerges as a frontier of global investment and innovation, legal frameworks must not lag behind. Investment disputes are no longer confined to courtrooms in New York or London. They are actually being arbitrated in Nairobi, Kigali, and Johannesburg. And as the most distinguished Deputy Solicitor General mentioned in our discussions earlier, it should not be old white men who manage and arbitrate these disputes. As a young arbitrator, the average age of my colleagues was about 70 and from the north. So we need to change that narrative. ESG obligations are now boardroom priorities, influencing capital flows and corporate legitimacy. When I sat on the board of the ABSA group, ESG was a critical theme in our deliberations. So it can't be ignored. And Kenya is a great place to discuss ESG because you have these natural environment that takes advantage of ESG, your wind farms to mention just a few. This collaboration is about preparing African talent not just to participate, but to lead in this new legal economy. ILIs such as commitment. The reason we don't emphasize the I, the L, and the law in it is because a lot of our constituency is cross-cutting. So when we moved our operations from regional operations from lecture series, our jointly delivered arbitration and ESG compliance certification tracks, and the development of CPD accredited courses for practicing professionals. We look forward to partnering with MKU in curriculum enrichment and mentorship programs, and to working with CIAB in producing peer-reviewed research that can inform both legal education and policy making in this region. Our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Professor David Smith, who was previously the Vice Dean at Harvard Law School, is very passionate about these issues, in particular compliance, ESG. So we look forward to having those conversations with David and some of our other colleagues who have served at great esteem in international academia. We believe this collaboration reflects what Africa needs more of: structured cooperation, a commitment to excellence, and an unrelenting belief that you, young professionals, deserve access to the best the world has to offer. To the students here today, know that the work we begin today, as the Vice Chancellor mentioned, is ultimately in your name. And to our colleagues at MKU and CIAB, thank you for your trust and your partnership. We are only getting started. Together, we will build a platform for African legal leadership that resonates far beyond our borders. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Swithin, for those very wonderful remarks. Please let's put our hands together again for Mr. Swithin. Allow me at this juncture to invite our very own Vice Chancellor, and so that he can also invite the chief guests. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MC. It's my privilege and honor to introduce our chief guest, Njeri Mwangi Wachira. There are certain titles that I'm always very envious of because I don't have them, and they are called EBS, MBS. I don't have those ones. I don't know when I will get them because time is running out on me. Njeri Mwangi Wachira is our chief guest. She's a Senior Deputy Solicitor General in charge of International Law Division. You have heard her being mentioned. And she is here today representing the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. Welcome.
The Vice Chancellor, Mount Kenya University, thank you so much for your very, very warm welcome and hospitality. I think I was saying to you earlier that your environment is so conducive for team building. When I look at Kilimambogo, and I think we're going to take up the offer of having a joint team building event. So the Vice Chancellor, Professor Deogratius Jagani, Professor Githu Muigai, Ms. Jackie Waihenya, Mr. Swithin Munyamtali, Professor Dr. Ezekiel Oira, Professor Kenneth Mutuma, and Ms. Judy Ngayo. DVCs present, and I also recognize my classmate, Nancy Boria, and of course, Melanie, I recognize you as well. Good morning, students and the future of the law. Good morning. Let me start by saying that the Honorable Attorney General sends her regards. She is out of the country, and so I'm representing her. The Honorable Attorney General, Dorcas Oduor, Ms. Nancy, and I were students of Professor Githu Muigai not too long ago, just in the 80s. And so we acknowledge you, Professor, as not just our lecturer, but as our mentor, and above that, our friend. So thank you. So good morning, and I would like to take this opportunity to just thank you for hosting us, and allow me to read the statement of the Honorable Attorney General. Okay? So allow me first, on my own behalf and that of the legal fraternity, to congratulate MKU, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, and, well, ILI, I'll still call it ILI, SACE, for the signing event that will take place today, the MOU between yourselves. It is a privilege to stand before you today, not just as the Attorney General. Please put that emoji of wink, wink. But I will take that as a compliment. But as a fellow traveler on this journey toward a more just and equitable Africa. We gather here at a defining moment, one that calls us to reflect deeply on the intersection of legal education, professional practice, and Africa's place in the global legal order. Ladies and gentlemen, the MOU that will be signed today, and I'm really happy today to learn about not being called an MOU, but a memorandum of action. I think that is something that is really critical. It is a statement of intent between highly esteemed institutions, and it is a shared recognition that the challenges we face demand nothing less than a reimagining of how we prepare the next generation of legal minds. Let me be clear. The lawyer that Africa needs today is not the lawyer of yesteryears. The complexities of investment disputes, the tensions between development and sustainability, and the delicate balance between sovereignty and global engagement, all these require a new kind of legal professional. Consider for a moment the landscape we operate in. Since 1993, African nations have faced over 170 investor-state dispute settlement cases. Some have resulted in awards running into billions of dollars, a staggering amount for any economy. Others have seen governments spend millions defending their legitimate policy space in foreign tribunals. And here's the painful truth. Even when we win, we lose. One arbitration matter on average costs about $5 million to defend. And that is just the financial aspect. It takes about 4 years to 5 years to prepare before we finally get to a hearing. So not only is it consuming financial resources, it also consumes human and other resources. So that is a very costly aspect for Africa in particular. Okay? The mere act of defending ourselves in these fora drains resources that could be building hospitals, schools, and other infrastructure. Be that as it may, let us not mistake analysis for lamentation. Africa is not sitting idly by. The African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, investment protocol represents our collective assertion that there is another way that is possible, a way that protects investors while at the same time safeguarding our right to pursue development policies that lift our people out of poverty. This is not about closing doors to foreign investment. It's about ensuring that when investment comes, it serves Africa's interests as much as it serves the corporate balance sheets. At the national level, and at the national front, the government has also taken initiatives to safeguard our interests and priorities, even as we encourage foreign investment. This has included the adoption by Cabinet of a decision to terminate, revoke, or renegotiate a number of old generation or first generation bilateral investment treaties that contain provisions that were mostly detrimental to Kenya. In 2019, the Office of the Attorney General, in collaboration and consultation with the National Treasury, spearheaded a process of development of a new investment policy and a model bilateral investment treaty to be used by Kenya in negotiations of investment treaties. The investment policy and model BIT were instrumental when Kenya participated in the negotiations of the AFCFTA, and they continue to guide Kenya when in the ongoing bilateral investment treaty negotiations with a number of countries. In the past decade, the international investment law regime came under attack due to what was seen by states as promoting an investor-state dispute mechanism system, which is heavily skewed in favor of investors. Since 2017, when Professor Githu was still the Attorney General, the Office of the Attorney General has been participating in the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, or UNCITRAL, Working Group 3, which is negotiating on investor-state dispute settlement reforms. Kenya, having been enjoined in a number of international arbitration matters, it was necessary for Kenya to contribute and have her interests safeguarded in these negotiations. Let history tell the great role that was played by Professor Githu, and I have to keep saying this, because it was due to his leadership that we have been able to upgrade the role of local counsel when it comes to international matters. Sweetin has just said how the role and the space out there has been by old, pale, and I understand now, stale, white men. Okay? And we want to change that narrative. We want to bring in younger arbitrators. We want to bring in younger defense or litigation counsel. And it was a deliberate policy of Professor Githu to have the local counsel take part in these arbitration matters. And not only that, but also as an arbitrators. And that is where we have our friend, Sweetin, who has sat in a matter where Kenya did prevail. On merit, please note that. Ladies and gentlemen, treaties and protocols alone are not enough. The world relies on places like this, in lecture halls where critical thinking is nurtured, in moot courts where advocacy skills are honed, in mediation rooms where disputes and resolutions find resolution before they escalate. That is why this partnership between MKU, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, and ILI SACE matters so profoundly. It creates a pipeline from classroom to courtroom to boardroom that will produce lawyers equipped not just with technical knowledge, but with the wisdom to apply that knowledge in service of Africa's transformation. To the students here today, this is your charge. You will be the ones drafting investment agreements that protect environmental resources while attracting green energy projects. You will mediate disputes between communities and corporations. You will find solutions that honor both economic realities and social justice. You will argue cases that set precedents for how African legal systems engage with international law. The weight of this responsibility is great, but so too is the opportunity to shape history. We stand at an inflection point. Africa's mineral wealth, our youthful population, our growing digital economy, all these are attracting global attention. While this attention comes, with this attention comes both opportunity and challenge. Will we be passive recipients of legal frameworks devised elsewhere, or active architects of systems that reflect our values and aspirations? The answer lies in our collective commitment to initiatives like this one, initiatives that build capacity, foster innovation, and most importantly, center African voices in the global legal discourse. As I conclude, let me echo the visionary words of Africa's Agenda 2063. It says, "The Africa we want is one where institutions are strong, inclusive, and people-centered." This Africa we envision will not be built in courtrooms alone. It will be forged in classrooms where critical thinking is nurtured, in training halls where skills are sharpened, and in collaborative forums such as this one, where theory meets practice and ambition meets action. May this MOU to be signed today be more than a symbolic gesture. Let it be a living covenant, a practical foundation for transformative legal capacity building across our continent. Let it inspire curricula that will empower, research that enlightens, and partnerships that endure. To our students, you carry our collective aspirations. To our institutions, you hold our shared trust. And to all gathered here, our work continues in earnest today. I would like to assure you both at the personal level and that of the Office of the Attorney General of our continued commitment to transformative legal capacity building here in Kenya and beyond. I wish you all fruitful deliberations, enduring collaborations, and success that will echo through Africa's legal landscape for generations to come. I thank you.
Thank you very much, our chief guests, for those wonderful remarks. We are now getting into perhaps the most critical part of this first session. We are going to go into signing of the tripartite memorandum of understanding. DVC, the Dean, the DVC's Dean School of Law. Very good. The DVC's. Let's clap for them. So that was the MOU between MKU and ILI.
that I can never be all that I see. I've seen that God is greater than to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. 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 See what the Lord has done for you. Congratulations.
The university is going to sign yet another more MOU between Mount Kenya University and the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators.
God is greater than that. Who can battle with the Lord? Nobody. Who can change his mind around me? Through many years, in many ways, I have seen his faithfulness ever and ever. Yeah. Congratulations.
Let's clap for them.
Congratulations, he has done it for me, and I have come back with a new song to sing. My God is good. Yes, I will come again with a new song of praise. My God is good. Congratulations.
I am now going to be assisted by my colleague, Mr. Titus Nyakundi. Okay, let's have the students come in front. The students. Let's celebrate our students. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Please let us take our seats.